Character matters a great deal. We know from research, for example, that competencies are very important in predicting individual and organizational performance. I think we know that about commitment to the role of leadership as well. What hasn't always been discussed is the role of leader character. We haven't had much exposure to that concept, and yet intuitively, we think it's very important. And so we must talk about character. We know anecdotally, but more important, empirically, that it is related to individual performance. We know it is a strong predictor of promotability. We know it's a predictor of derailment. And for that reason, we need to bring character into the conversation around leadership and leadership development. I can think of at least 3 distinct reasons why it's important to measure character. First, assuming that character is important, we want to know if we are hitting the mark. How are we doing? Second, if we're not hitting the mark, what are my developmental needs? And so thinking and talking about character helps us to identify what's important, what's not important, and how can I improve on a daily basis. And thirdly, thinking and talking about character is a way for leaders to hold themselves accountable. Are they measuring up? After all, individuals, they own their leadership career. The Leadership Character Insight Assessment is a behaviorally based tool to assess one's character. It was very important to develop this tool for 3 distinct reasons. First, in our experience, people found this notion of character very subjective and oftentimes very hard to talk about. Second reason, there was no language, there was no vocabulary. We all realized it's important, but people had difficulties engaging in a conversation around leader character. And thirdly, and perhaps most important, people saw the importance of leader character. But we had to find a way from talking about leader character to actually doing something about it. And it proved to be very challenging to do that without a tool, without a conversation piece. So the Leader Character Insight Assessment provided a platform for dialogue around leader character in the workplace. The development of the Leader Character Insight Assessment took a long time, but we've had great help. We conducted extensive interviews with leaders from the public, the private and the not-for-profit sectors. We had great opportunities to collect hard data from individuals. It's based on data information provided to us by over 2,000 people in leadership positions. And of course we got great help from Sigma assessment systems in turning the qualitative data that we obtained from those leaders into behaviorally based statements that are the foundation of the Leader Character Insight Assessment. Any organization in the public, the private and the not-for-profit sector can use the Leader Character Insight Assessment to help the develop of their leaders in several ways. First, at the individual level, I think an instrument like the 360 really encourages individuals to reflect on their leadership and their leader character, which I think is the start of any leadership development. Based on that process, it would be relatively straightforward for individuals to learn and to set goals that are behaviorally based. And then thirdly, at an individual level, I think it's critically important to commit and act. And of course, the report that individuals receive once they have completed this particular instrument gives them plenty of food for thought. It comes with numerous resources, including books, suggestions for articles, video clips. It's quite comprehensive. Second, from a leader point of view, I think the Leader Character Insight Assessment provides a very clear and compelling tool for leaders to coach, to provide feedback, and to be a mentor to the next generation of leadership. In other words, it becomes a lot easier for them to engage in a conversation around leader character. And third, from an organizational point of view, the Leader Character Insight Assessment becomes part of a process for embedding leader character into organizational systems and practices. We partnered with Sigma Assessment Systems for 3 distinct reasons. First, the organization has a long-standing reputation for excellence in measurement and test development. Second, the organization has been very responsive and accommodating in designing the tool and bringing our vision of the assessment to life. And third, the Ivy Business School has an ongoing partnership with Sigma assessment systems. We use many of their tools in our curriculum. We very much appreciate their professionalism and the quality of their assessments.